So Brittany Dawn Fitness is the trending topic in YouTube right now. This got the old cranium pondering. Surely, for her to be considered an influencer, I apologize for Leon, at some point, she must have been giving some deep applicable fitness knowledge to her subscribers.
I take this every single day.
This is not happening.
Amino acids that are going to help repair lean muscle tissue that's broken down while you're training. It's also going to help prevent lean muscle tissue breakdown in the first place.
This is not real science in any way at all. This is utter nonsense.
You need these in your diet. You need these in your training regimen.
You need all 9 essential amino acids for effective protein synthesis.
One thing that you need, I would suggest the multivitamin, and I would suggest the BCAAs.
You can get BCAAs from food sources. However, if you'd like to supplement, your subscribers are getting BCAAs from the protein powder you are pushing at the start of this video. So then why would they need an isolated BCAA powder? And so I'm sports scientist James Sensational, and this is Brittany Dawn Fitness, knows nothing about fitness.
My name is Optimus Prime.
And so this video is not around the recent drama surrounding her. This is purely looking at her fitness information. There are many good videos looking at that trending topic right now, not including War Machine's PR man, such as Swollenormous, who's made many good videos. But don't worry, Dash. One day, you are going to be as good looking as me. Keep working on it. And just to start, even her professional modeling picture is a visual image of how to destroy your shoulders, the position of the weight in relation to the shoulder girdle, the stress that's putting on the rotator cuff. And that should kind of be your first red flag when the professional modeling picture is a injury 101. And so my goal was to look at her channel and to see, is her fitness information valid? And what first surprised me is that her middle name was not Vince. I was thinking for sure she must be Vince's sister. And in no way am I blaming people for having been subscribed to her or following her advice. This is what is kind of known as the beginner trap, or if you like, the V-shred. In essence, what happens is you have someone who looks good. They have a body image that beginners aspire to, and so they naturally see this person all over social media and they assume that this person is a fitness expert. Let me be very clear about one very important point, and this is essential in fitness, and this is something that many beginners will fail to know for a long time, which will cost them time and money. Just because somebody looks good, just because somebody can train themselves, does not mean they can program for other people, because programming for people requires a deep knowledge of physiology and physical fitness. That is because people have unique characteristics. There are many variables surrounding training. For example, your injury history, your limb length and attachments, your specific goals, your training time and availability. There are so many, I wouldn't be able to even get started with this concise brief. But please be aware of that. Just because somebody looks good, in your opinion, does not mean they are a fitness professional. And in this case, Brittany Dawn made this transformation. Good for her. She lost body fat. She attained her physique. She attained her physique goal. However, let me be clear. She was an untrained individual. And what she did is by training and creating a caloric deficit over time, she became lean. But in no way does that make her a fitness professional. And in no way could she program for other people with the intricacies required in training. What she did is she showed discipline to create a caloric deficit over time with her training and her eating, and that's how she lost fat, and that's how she has this lean appearance. Now, in this video, I'm going to very explicitly show you how this woman is not a fitness expert, professional, a coach, and not a competent personal trainer, in my opinion. And my opinion has never been wrong.
Hello.
And by the way, Every Damn Day Fitness has invited Brittany Dawn onto his podcast, where he will give her the opportunity to put her side of the story in relation to the drama that's trending. And so factually speaking, Brittany Dawn's audience is largely female, probably predominantly female. Now, that's not a judgment, that's just factual. That's her target audience, and specifically beginners. You can see many of her videos are aimed at beginners. So if I was giving fitness advice for beginners, a video titled such as hers, this is what I would touch upon. I would touch upon beginners learning the major compound movements. Doesn't have to specifically be with a barbell, but compound movements. I would impress upon beginners the importance of progressive overload in your training, challenging your muscle. And for beginners, your primary course of overload will be increasing the weight over time. And then lastly, I would talk about energy balance relating to your goals, caloric surplus and caloric deficit. But this is what she talks about. Generic, intangible, ambiguous statements which don't mean anything. She's just talking without saying anything. Now, they're not actually incorrect, her statements, but they have no context or explanation whatsoever. It's just statements such as hold yourself accountable, have clear goals, celebrate the small victories. That's kind of fine, but you have to explain something to your audience. For example, if you're talking about clear goals, at the very least, are you going to explain periodization, a very basic linear periodization? Absolutely not. She just doesn't explain anything in any way that would make me think that this person has any idea how to train people. For example, if I was talking about clear goals, I would say to people a very basic way of planning your training is linear periodization for beginners. This involves blocks of training where you can have specific short-term goals which then branch out into a longer-term goal, perhaps over the course of a year, and you could show a graph of linear periodization and an example, and then an audience could take that away, apply it to themselves, and have a greater chance of success in their fitness journey. And then the glute transformation video, she shows a technical lift, a sumo deadlift. Again, she has beginner level deadlifting. Now that's fine if she's a beginner, but she is positioning herself as a fitness influencer. She, for example, in the sumo deadlift, you can see her hips rise and then she hinges. She has this very sort of broken deadlift pattern with her hips and then the hinge. And anyone that lifts will instantly be able to tell you this. And the problem is that there is a potential for injury the more you load the bar. If you don't get your foundation, your execution. Now, when it comes to exercise execution, absolutely, that depends on many things. It depends on the person, limb length, the specific exercise, absolutely. But in this case, I can watch her performing a specific lift and I can tell you her execution is not beyond beginner competency level. She has absolutely no place training people. And indeed, she actually has another video where she mentions the fact that she injured herself sumo deadlifting and she had to be carried off the gym floor.
I have pulled my back doing these before, carried off the floor by 2 trainers because I couldn't stand up. That's how bad it was. So
does that sound like the sort of person that should be training people? But then what she does in some of her videos is what I would call the no-lose exercises. You literally can't look bad on camera. You doing a hack squat on a machine or a sort of cable donkey kick, the most basic beginner movements where you're absolutely guided biomechanically by a machine, for example, you can't go wrong. But then again, when she has to show a technical lift, a compound lift, such as the barbell back squat, it's very poor execution. Again, this is a beginner lifter. She has a real lack of control as she works down towards the hole there. She has instability and mobility issues, which you can see with her butt wink in the hole. And then when she drives out the hole, this is an incredibly inefficient position and movement. And anyone, again, who barbell back squats could explain that to you. Again, rather than me doing that, there are many channels on YouTube that you can go to and learn how to barbell back squat. Calisthenic Movement have a very good video on that. But her movement is complete beginner level, which is fine for her. But again, she is positioning herself as a fitness professional influencer and training people. And then we look at her training videos and she's talking about her back workout, the lat pull down. She cannot explain anything. This is very similar to Vince Sant.
the neutral grip lat pull down, one of my favorites. I love this one so much. I don't know why just the changing your grip stance on these makes such a difference to me in terms of like my preference.
She cannot explain any physiological phenomena at all, not even the most basic year one sort of personal training manual concepts. For example, she talks about the neutral narrow grip pull down, and she kind of says, oh, it feels better for me, it feels different, but she can't explain why. And I can explain exactly why. The grip on the lat pull down completely affects your mechanical position. A narrow grip, think about where the elbows are with a narrow grip, and think about where the elbows are with a wider grip, and your grip will absolutely affect the activation of muscle groups. So a wider grip on the lat pull down will activate more of the teres major. There are physiological and mechanical concepts which come into play with different grip positions. The way she doesn't explain it instantly shows me she just doesn't know the most basic biomechanical movements. And so I'm not surprised that she gathered a following, because we do live in a world where Dr. Jim Stoppani has such a large following that he actually named them the Gym Army. By the way, Jim, got another video planned for you in the Your What Mate series. Not even thinking about all the drama that surrounded her, I can absolutely tell you, in my opinion, with confidence as a sports scientist, this person does not have a higher level understanding of training or nutrition or supplementation, where she should be viewed as a person to train and give this to other people. And so I'm James Linker, Shredded Sports Science. I'll see you soon.